Today we're looking at a completely different topic. Anyone familiar with ChatGPT will certainly have heard of DeepSeek. Judging by the name, you might think it's another IT infrastructure from Google, similar to DeepMind. But far from it, dear listener. It is a Chinese manufacturer who, in view of the announcement of the Stargate project, has obviously chosen its release date with care. I'll show you exactly what that is on the deepseek.com website in a moment. Welcome back to the deepseek.com website. If you would also like to use the AI platform, simply click on Start Now here and then verify yourself with your Google account. Once you have done this, you will be taken directly to DeepSeek's own dashboard. What you find there, however, looks very puristic overall. On the one hand, there is the Upload Content function via this paperclip icon. You can also activate the so-called web search here. If you want the thought process to be significantly extended or intensified, simply select the deepthink R1 function. The answer will take much longer, but the expected results are presumably much better. The functions on the left-hand side are also relatively simple. You can start a new chat here. Underneath you can see what I have already done, your history so to speak. At the bottom left are the settings, but without much possibility to adjust things. So let's get started now. In the first phase, I asked DeepSeek various questions to identify the basic parameters. For example, in how many languages can DeepSeek answer? Apparently over 100. How many characters can each answer contain? Apparently 4,096. Here I already discovered a minor contradiction, because in the answer before I got the statement that up to 8,000 characters are possible. When I drew DeepSeek's attention to this contradiction, I received this justification in response. Yes, no, I can only do 4,096 characters. That was probably a misunderstanding in a previous chat. You may know my other tutorial on the topic, how to create a prompt without much effort with ChatGPT or Claude.ai. That's why other topics were important to me. For example, can you analyze images? Can you analyze images without text? All these questions were answered with yes. So I uploaded this picture with the aircraft carrier and a cheeseburger and asked for an analysis. The result was somewhat disappointing. Apparently DeepSeek can only read the text on an image or document. And this text was also misinterpreted. The image actually says, "I'm hungry for a big cheeseburger and where are you from?" The big became bike with the letter C and the from became fine. This means that there is obviously still a need for optimization. Don't rely completely on accurate answers. In the second phase, I motivated DeepSeek to do something a little more complex. I wanted to implement a first app created with AI. What exactly is it about? I thought to myself, I move my cursor across the screen so often, I want to know how far I'm travelling. A kind of fitness app for the cursor, so to speak. At the same time, I wanted the app to describe the distance, measured in pixels, between 2 points. I fed DeepSeek with a wealth of basic information and created a final version over several iterations. If I now click on the Run HTML button, we see the corresponding result. You are now asked to define the starting point of the measurement. If I then click somewhere else on the screen, a value, in this case 939 pixels, is displayed. Or again, then it is 769 pixels. I mentioned earlier that there should be a second function, measure the distance travelled by holding down the right mouse button. You can see that this distance, in pixels, is displayed at the top left. So the journey is getting longer and longer. I have now covered 7,476 pixels from start to finish. I wonder how many calories the cursor has burned. This application may be brain-teasing, but it's still fun. The following is important at this point. I have not shown you the individual steps for implementing such a program. Just enter the basic information at the beginning. For example, I want a measurement between 2 points. Then let the AI write the basic code first. In the next step, you then state, add a line between the two selected points. Make the line green. add this detail, and so on. This means that the individual steps are gradually incorporated into the application. Don't be afraid of having all the concepts and details at hand at the beginning. It's like your own tutorial, in which you instruct the AI step by step to integrate your wishes into the app. This is just a brief insight into the workflow I recommend when implementing your own application. In the next, third phase, I didn't use the deepthink R1 function yet, but instead formulated my wishes as before. Do you know Super Mario Bros? I would like to develop a similar jump and run game in this style. Not only is DeepSeek familiar with this game, but the answer was pretty clear. Of course. And so the programming began. I then refined this code further together with DeepSeek. As an example, the jump function is clearly too intense. I would like to integrate more blocks in a certain colour. As you can see, the code got longer and longer as a result. Armed with the final result, I then used the deepthink R1 function to check the code created by DeepSeek. This means DeepSeek analysed and evaluated its own output. The process is much more time-consuming, and, as you can see here, generates a lot of content. It is quite a long text that documents deepthink, one's self-reflection. The outcome was that the code was further refined and rewritten, and this is now the result. I have to be careful not to run into the red squares, otherwise it's game over. You can now see the game with a high score. Have fun watching. Now I have to jump here. I can do this with the space button. With A, I can run to the left, with D to the right. I shouldn't touch these red blocks. I could jump onto the black bars and game over. It's already over. Only managed 4,120 points. The previous high score is just under 12,000 points. So you see, I've created a Super Mario-style jump and run game with very simple functions and these platforms. The red blocks are the sources of danger, and the white square is the main character. Of course, this is just a very simple demo, but you can see what you can do. If you feel like it, just give it a try. That's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for listening. See you soon. Your channel, AI, Now You Know.